overtime. Working out some system kinks. Working out some system kinks. So, working out some system kinks. But you know what? While I'm doing this, I will do this.
I'm a PhD.
Clear the way. Yeah, baby. That's it. There we go. Overtime. We're in the overtime hours. Overtime hours. So what am I doing? What's overtime? Well, I got to work out some system issues, some kinks, because I do work, and this is work. But now in overtime, we go straight to the red room. Overtime is straight to the red room. No filter, no chaser, but you can still see it happen right here. Look here, man. I get it. I do get it. There are a lot of people who have who do you think you are? The nerve to say this, the nerve to say that. Look, you don't have to like my point of view, but damn it, you're not going to sit back and say that I don't have the right to have my point of view or my opinion. And instead of asking why I do what I do, why don't you just ask me the question? Why don't you just ask me the question that you really want to know? And if it's a relevant question, I would do. But see, only with black men do we make black men have to be Superman. Only with black men do black men have to be perfect. Only with black men do we make black men have to jump through hoops. Think about it. I don't see people asking my non-black counterparts who make videos on the same topics, who are you? Right? You missed the earlier show, KD? Thanks. I'm a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
So we're in overtime hour now. Is it back on? I'm back on for a second. I'm doing something called overtime. See, the show, I'm keep the show moving, keep it evolving, but I need to just clear up a few things. One, who do you think should say something? Because that's the real question. Who was qualified to say anything to any of you sisters? Because I think Sis Renata got it best and said, hey, wait a minute. We only want to hear from who we want to hear from. That's it. We only want to hear from who we want to hear from. And that's not working. It's simply not working. Hotasia. See, it's simply not working. And the notion that women need to hear from men. And what makes me a qualified man to speak on it? Well, first off, because the men you want are my clients. When I'm speaking, I'm not just giving my advice. I've spent at 51 years old, I've lived quite a bit. And when I ask my clients, my colleagues, men who I know who are professional men, high earning men, the kind and the caliber of men that a lot of you ladies say they want. Here's what happened. I started noticing a pattern when I would ask my clients who I was an image consultant. All right, once we got their image together, appearance, behavior, communication, digital footprint, they had to get back out in life. And what I heard a lot of guys coming back and say is, hey man, I've changed my entire look, my entire feel. But the women out here, there are no good women out here. That's what I heard guys say. There were no good women. There are no good women. And then I would hear when I work with women that the kind of men that they want are either married or they can't find them. So I'm like, why can't these people find one another? Well, the modern dating scene is not set up for high value men and women to find one another, which is one of the reasons I decided to create my Facebook group, The Mix, where I had men and women of a certain caliber and mindset in proximity of each other. Men are networking, women are networking, and nature is taking its course. I didn't do anything special other than put two groups of like-minded men and women in a group and let nature happen. You know what that showed me? And it happened in under 10 days. Black people are not doomed. It's just the people who are in each other's lanes are having a hard time finding one another. And they're having a hard time finding one another because, one, modern dating is a dumpster fire. And women have made it that way. I'm sorry, ladies, but you have. When you can have a New York Times article saying that 1 out of 3 women asked this question, have you gone out on a date to an expensive date or something like that with a man that you knew you were not romantically interested in? And 1/3 of women said yes. I went because I wanted the free meal or because it's outside of my budget. Well, what did you think? That was not going to come back to bite you in the ass? Did you think you could just keep on playing men for suckers? Dangling the possibility of a relationship or the possibility of getting in your pants? And it was, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Look at what has happened to men in family court, divorce court. So now men are more cautious. So now men are waiting to say, well, forget it. If I can't do like my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, meet somebody young, and we start off young and grow together and build together. And if I can't get a woman who's happy with me and my potential and we move forward, if the only way this works is that I have to be a high value man before I can get any kind of cooperation from the rank and file woman, okay, that means I'll have to wait. So guys are now waiting till they're in their early to mid 30s before they are seriously considering relationships. Ladies, you did this. You did this, ladies. You did it. Maybe not you, but the women before you. Oh yeah, that's the call line. You did this. And if you did not do it, women who came before you did it. Now, I'm not going to talk so much about the family court and that kind of stuff. The question is now, what do you do? I saw that most of the guys who I was working with, they still want to marry. Even in today's environment, guys still want to marry and have children. What I'm seeing is more women in their 20s aren't wanting to marry. And here's what I'm hearing from more women. You're trying to find the best deal. So if you got guys in their 20s wanting to get married and women in their 20s, but you women in your 20s are looking for high value men. So you're not looking for men in their 20s. And when you do deal with them, you're dealing with them waiting to see if you can find a better deal upstream. and you're missing one another. And what has to happen? In order for more relationships to happen, women are going to have to get rid of their ridiculous list and go back to the things that made relationships with you desirable. What made relationships with women desirable? Femininity, friendly, cooperative, uh, and no kids, and fitness. That's what made women, relationships with you desirable. No one's saying doo wop or no one's saying pretty brown eyes to a 350-pound woman. I'm sorry. All the old school house is not a home and all the old school love songs were not sung about big women with weaves and wigs. So this is where we're at. And you got a lot of young women in here saying, well, I didn't do it. It don't matter. It does not matter. You are where you are. You are where you are. And now what are you going to do about it? Men have adjusted. Now online, especially on YouTube, because YouTube leans young and male, you're going to hear a lot more men who are just now finding these spaces. But I'm sorry, 80+% of the men still are not on, they're not here. They're out in the world. You know how many men don't know about these spaces? And my hope is that the women who find these spaces can either decide to become the best version of themselves. So when they do find a guy, you're not divorcing. What in the world? Was that supposed to be? What was that supposed to be? So guys don't want to get in relationships and then break up. And why are relationships breaking up? Because women break up 80% of relationships. What do you need? You either speak or you gotta go. Yes. Well, first off, I need you to introduce yourself. That's not how we can we at least be hold on, let's back up, okay? Can you be polite to me? Who are you? And how old are you, Bianca? All right. See how much nicer that is when we just try to introduce ourselves versus you coming here starting trying to slap me around. That's never gonna work.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I did want to give, my experience as a woman. I only know my side of the fence, so I don't want to sound unfair towards men. But what one thing, that has, God has shown me through my experience and walk of life is that, Black men in the country have had a hard time getting jobs. Right now, there's an unemployment gap, and so the financial stabilities that people are supposed to have a family, a lot of that right now is going to be hard, and people right now are trying to basically survive as men and women as individuals because there's a hardship in the country. We have an obesity crisis within the Black and white communities, okay, because of a lot of the fast food. We have been pushing, we have government leaders and the USDA have been trying to push for people to have more healthier perspectives, along within the Black and white communities. There is an obesity rate. I was also one of those people that were raised to be an overeater, okay, and so that was a habit that stuck with me as an older woman. Not only that, but it also caused health issues. So I developed a health issue called a hormonal disorder, where basically your hormones fluctuate back and forth. And I've been this way since I was 15 years old. And the doctors could only diagnose me with birth control. Okay. They couldn't give me anything that would cure the symptoms. I ate healthy, but I had a personal genetic issue where I would gain weight lose weight. I would become anemic from my cycles, and I was consistently placed on birth control, metformin, and um,
So,
basically
so
given hormonal
I
medication.
gotta ask the question now.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What do you want, and what are you willing to do to get it?
I'm willing. Like I said, I've been here with my family for I've been moving in with my
But
family,
you haven't
and
answered the first
I've been
question. You haven't
taking.
answered the first
Yes. What
question.
am I willing to change?
You haven't, first up,
Get therapy.
stop. Not first. I need you to
Yes. Go
stop.
ahead. Go ahead.
You seem very defensive. What's going on? Cause I've just allowed you to get on. I
Um,
just allowed you to get on the show, and I just asked you to introduce yourself and say hello. I mean, you just came in here
yeah.
like a, a whirlwind. I asked you one question, and you haven't even answered the question. What do you want?
Better health. That's what I want.
Okay,
I want better health.
okay, but all right. What does it have to do with relationship?
Men look for women that are sexually attractive. That's what you've been complaining about in
I'm not
your
complaining.
previous
First off,
videos.
no. See, all right. Let's just go with that. But what do you? What about how you act? How you talk? Do you think the way you've been on this show has been appealing?
No, it is not.
And you're 27, right?
Yes.
And what does any of your health have to do with the way you came in the door, and even the tone you have with me now?
Uh, Probably just venting, and I'm in bed, so I'm about to go to rest pretty soon after the show.
So in
But
other words, in other words, damn me, I'm not a human being. You can just talk to me any old kind of way. See, that's a problem I have with a lot of black women. You really want, if we started treating y'all like y'all treat us, this would be crazy. All I asked was politeness. And that's what a lot of brothers are starting to say. You're getting back what you put out. Relationships are reflective. What are you reflecting out? If you treat a strange black man that you don't know, you never met this way,
right, to that I should better my habits, or become more aware of like how I speak, my tone, how my image looks, because that's something that they care about.
well,
That if I want to be represented better, have them to perceive me better, I have to give them, a first impression, which is what they're looking for.
that's why I gave the example of if you go back in your family history, there were women who were very unattractive back in the day. Women didn't have the same access to beauty enhancers as they have today, right?
No, they didn't have access,
But they had
not as much.
husbands because they did not give away their they were still agreeable. See, I'm going to make a suggestion, man. Whatever your health issues are, I'm a cancer survivor. Those are our personal things. No one owes us understanding. If you want better treatment, you got to treat people better. And not go through life with a good faith point of view. Like when I answered the phone call from you, that I treated you in good faith. I said, "Hey, how are you? What can I do for you? What can I help?" I didn't. I, I was trying to lead down that path. But were you raised by your dad?
I was raised by both of my parents, but yeah, I'm more influenced by my father than my mother.
Do
So
you have any siblings?
I have a brother.
Is he married?
No, he's single.
Do you have any children?
No, I'm single.
So you said you would like to have a relationship. Do you want to be married?
Yes, pretty soon in my life, yes.
Okay, what's the longest relationship you've ever had?
Um, I've not had a relationship, a serious one yet. No, nothing so far, other than online dating.
Okay, why online and not in in the real world?
I live in a small town, excluded from a lot of people. I live very isolated, so that's one of the reasons why.
Why do you live there?
It's just the poverty level. It's middle class and poor. Small town, not very many people. Family doesn't want to, I don't have very much access to like where it is that I need to be. So
Okay,
opportunities very limited.
all right, all right. Did you go to high school or college?
Both.
Did you graduate from college?
Yes.
And degree is in what?
Graphic, Bachelor of Science,
In what?
graphic design,
And what state are you in?
Texas.
I'm sorry, man. You have no excuses. You have what percentage of the United States population has a college degree?
A small percent,
What percent?
maybe 25 or 30%.
Right. And then in a technical background. See, you got excuses. It's my weight. It's the food. It's the population. And all I do is ask questions. And I pointed to the fact that no, you live in Texas. I lived in Texas for a long time. They don't keep you prisoner in a city. Why haven't you left?
Um, well, I'm living with my aunt right now, so
Why?
um,
Why?
I had a bad accident, and I don't think you'd be interested in
I
hearing
know I
it,
wouldn't.
but
Can you walk?
yes, I can walk.
Okay. And how long ago did you have the accident?
3 months
3
ago,
months ago. And what age did you graduate from college?
I graduated at 17.
From college?
Yes.
What college did you graduate from at 17?
I was an online student at Westwood College online,
And you have a
a
bachelor's
community
from where?
college, Bachelor in Science in graphic design from Westwood
Okay,
College.
well that's okay.
And
Hold
the
on. Hold
location,
on.
go ahead. Yes.
Westwood is not a 4-year college or university.
It's a community college.
Okay, ma'am. So I asked you if you went to college, and you said yes. I asked you if you have a bachelor. That implies a 4-year degree.
Right.
Do you
I
have
stayed
Do
in
you have
school.
that?
Yes, I have a physical,
All right, ma'am.
hard
See what I'm
copy of
saying,
it.
guys? See what I'm saying? More of this.
Yes, yes.
No, no, ma'am. I need you to check. No, I'm not gonna do that. Nope. You see what I mean? Westwood graphic design. How much do you make a year?
About 23,000
And how much? And how long have you been making that?
for about 5 years.
Have you ever lived on your own
Yes, I have.
in your own apartment,
Yes,
paying your own rent?
yes.
How long ago was that?
Just previously 3 months ago.
So you've been out. Let's just say take it for granted. You've been out from Westwood for 10 years.
Right.
Then what have you been doing with your life?
Right now I'm temporarily
No, no, no. What were you
in
doing
my
after you graduate? From 17 to 25.
in between that time I did graphic design and also worked for my grandmother's ministry.
Right.
Worked for help assist
So
my
in other words,
grandmother.
you were fully employed, even if it was low income.
Right.
So you could have made your choices. You chose to be under him. You chose to stay where you are, making the amount of money you are. Your life is what you chosen.
Okay.
Uh, Your life is what you chosen, and you need to say it.
My life is what I
I
chose.
mean, because you're educated. I mean, it's not like you said, I dropped out of high school, or I didn't go. You have some sort of skill. That means you have an ability to earn, and you still going to say you live in a small town and all this other kind of stuff when you could have easily got out of that town, gone to a bigger city that pays more money.
Well, I chose to give my time to my grandmother because she needed help. And she started getting, she had needed someone to caretake for her, and she wanted someone in the family to do it. And I also have an inheritance here with the house and her ministry name. And so I'm also trying
Well,
to
then,
fulfill my
well,
part for that as well.
well, but like you said, it's a choice. It's a choice, and a choice implies trade offs and consequences. So for comfort, you have this. Why didn't you go to the big city and compete with everybody else? Why didn't you go to Houston, Dallas, or Austin?
Well, when my parents enrolled me into school,
No,
they
ma'am.
were
After
poor.
you became 18, you're your own responsibility.
Okay. Um,
Why didn't you go? Okay, see, you're not a dumb woman. And you came here with these reasons. And you said you have never had a relationship.
no, I have not.
And guess what? I can understand that because even in our first interaction, it's kind of like it's like relationships are skills are like muscles. So if you're living in a small town in Texas,
Yes,
well, if you don't do anything, what's the prognosis? If you continue to do what you're gonna do, what's the prognosis 10 years from now?
I'll still be in the same position I was when
All
I
right,
was
then
in my
20 years
early
from
20s.
now,
Yeah, probably the same
30.
if I stay here. The same thing.
Uh-huh. And you're weighing how much now?
Could you repeat that question?
You said how much do you weigh?
How much do I weigh?
Mm-hmm.
160 pounds.
All right. So basically, you're content to die alone.
Yeah. Yes,
Uh,
that's correct.
all right. Well, then you've made your choice. And you should be happy with it. You should have a smile in your voice.
Well, I'm hoping for something better.
No,
You
no,
know,
there's no
I
hope.
don't
No, see,
plan
no,
on
no, no, no.
staying.
There's no hope. Nope. There's no
And
hope.
I
There's no hope. See, that's the thing. That's the wrong thing. There is no hope. Adults don't hope. We plan and we do. And I'm just making you sit back and talk about it. It ain't worked so far. So you choosing to stay there and your grandmother and everybody else, no matter how good the reasons are, I'm sorry. You're choosing to live there and die alone. And I'm gonna just be straight up with you. Your grandmother lived her life. It is not your responsibility to sacrifice your life for somebody else's. But so if you choose to do that, you cannot use that as a get out of jail free or a martyr card later on. Online dating does not count. When was the last time you physically went out on a romantic date with a man?
never.
Well, sounds like you need some therapy, man.
Why do you say that?
Sounds like you need therapy because um, you have rationalized this. You have made this make sense. Uh, and That's fine, but you basically uh, are the Walking Dead right now. I mean, $23,000 a year. That's $11, $12 an hour. You can't take care of yourself.
No, I can't. It's a
Well, that's
small
your,
town.
well, no. See again. You see what you see, audience. What you did. It's another one of these small town things. It's not small town, man. It's your choices. You keep going back to small town. It has a main street. Leave. See, audience, what we have is fear. Fear and scarcity. And this is why I said earlier, when you came in with all these the facts and figures and the data and the statistics, you got don't you can be right on the arguments, but you're living wrong. Unless you want to die alone. Because you said, I want to be married soon. How do you think that's going to happen for a woman who's never had a boyfriend?
Maybe I can get in an arranged marriage. Maybe there's an arrangement or something I can join or some society.
Okay. Tell me about how that's going to happen.
I can convert religions, and I can use that as a way to assimilate into another culture and get a relationship
Ah.
and accept what they
Well, what
offer
religion would
me.
you have to convert to?
I could convert to Islam. I can convert
Uh
to
huh.
Catholic. I
No,
could
no, no,
convert
no, no,
to,
no. Catholicism doesn't just bestow that. See, I want you to, and you're talking about this as if it's a real possibility. And this is the route you would rather take. This is why when I say the delusion has set in, you're living in fantasy. You act like, well, I can just go through my local directory and say, arranged marriages. Let me Google arranged marriages. Oh, I'm going to just go to the local imam and say, I'm going to convert religions. I'm going to now take up Islam. Great. So you guys will do it for me. You'll find me a husband and I can just be in an arranged marriage. Is that how it works? And the answer is, I have no idea how that works, Kevin. I just said something. Because you don't have any idea how that works, right?
now I know that it has to be a business. It has to be a business
You have no
affiliation. So I
idea
really don't
how it
know.
really works, ma'am.
No, but I would be interested in it, to be open to the idea because it,
So in
it
other
is
words, if
healthier,
it failed, then it was whose fault? I mean, look at
you
what you're
know.
doing. Look, still. All right. So, uh, ma'am, your
Yes.
choices, but this is crazy. You're choosing to sit back and this is not how life was supposed to work. You're supposed to be out here. You need some therapy to get your head on right, but you need to get out of that small town and get away from whatever because you are really effectively living and waiting to end up dying. What you're talking about makes no sense. I'll just get into an arranged marriage. No. Why would somebody want to pick you at 27 too? That's a whole other thing. So, I mean, I know it doesn't sound nice. It doesn't sound sexy, but ma'am, it's not okay that you've allowed yourself to get to the point to where you've just given up. I wish you hadn't. I mean, why have you given? I mean, when you were a young girl, 12 years old, this is not where you thought you'd be at almost 30.
No, I didn't think I would be this
So why are
way.
you giving up?
Well, it's always been my family who's always had a higher power over my life, and they've always pulled in the direction of where they wanted to go because they've had more power too,
Where's
and
your
I'm just
mother?
used to
So
that.
your mother and your mother. So it's not your mother's fault, and it's not your father's fault. You are an adult, and you live in the house with your grandmother.
Right.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
There's nothing else I can really say. I've already kind of laid it out. You know what this is. You make less than $24,000 a year, living in a small town with no prospects, no relationship history. Please get off of online dating because look, like I said, you need an intervention, and I hope this was get you to at least understand that if you don't change something, year after year after year is going to go on, and this will end with you by yourself. No one's coming to save you. You can't go convert religions and just find a husband on the top shelf. It's going to require you to not be lazy. That's why I made that broadcast. Average looking, lazy women. And this is lazy, pure and simple. Pure and simple laziness. Everything you've said is somebody else doing it. Have a good night.
You too.
See, you can't really fix anything about lazy. So, in overtime, I speak to women in overtime. Guys, um, I'm telling you, in overtime, I speak to women. Men, if you want to speak to me, you need to book a session. You need to book a session because I expect men to pay their way. You don't just get to ask stuff for free. Um, I mean, I feel bad for women like her because honestly, they have just given up. And when human beings have no hope, it is the walking dead. But one of the things I figured out is that it helps to tell somebody you have given up. You have no hope right now. What makes you average? Being overweight. Leah, you can call in. See, what here's the thing is, you ladies, what makes you average? Looking in the mirror. Yes, that's what makes you average. Average. What makes you above average, Leah? What makes you exceptional? I mean, we act as if we don't know how to rank ourselves. If you are a woman and you are a 5 or below, if you're a woman in a 5, you're average. 50% of the women are you. If you're a 6, 40% of the women are you. If you're an 8, 20% of the women are you. If you're a 9, 10% of the women are you. And if you're a 10, about 1% of the women are you. I just said men must book their sessions online. Yeah, Leah, call in. How do you call in? Here's how you call in. Pink Flame, call in. It's overtime. Yeah, the red light is on. My goal is not to beat up on people and hurt people's feelings, any of that. So this is why I do these shows and I put it out there because, and why I don't respond to lots of people who talk about expose this. Look, the work will speak for itself. And when you are putting content after content, you're creating a body of work, and people who are trying to be legitimate and honest about something will be able to make their own decision over and say, well, you know what? So and so said this about him, but I saw for myself, and I don't believe that to be accurate. Um, yeah, men have. You're here. No, Leah, but you asked the question. See, here's the question for a lot of you ladies. What do you think you can gain by just listening? Leah, the Leahs of the world. You want to be reactive and docile. I'm just going to sit here. But you're here all the time. And instead of taking advantage of an opportunity to ask a question, and this is what, now I'm going to be honest, that's another thing that makes you average. See, you can be good looking and average in your mind. A high value man's woman is not an average woman because she has a go getter mentality, but she doesn't have to be driven and ambitious. See, I think there have been four kinds of femininity kind of laid out. What was it? The courtesan, the mother, the Amazon, the warrior kind of spirit, and then what was the other one? I'll just call it a Jezebel. You have to be willing to get out there, and this is why so many black women end up losing because you're either to this or to that. Feminine women are some of the most competitive women when it comes right down to it. Feminine women are some of the most competitive women when it comes down to getting, because they realize that they're not a lot of the men that they want. Need to unmute yourself. Bree, I already answered your question for tonight. Yes. See, fear. No high value man wants a fearful woman. Cannot be a fearful woman with a high value man. Will not work. Hello? Speaking 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, or we're going to get up out of here. Fear. Fear, fear, fear. False evidence appearing real. Say something or you got to go. All right. Well. See how some trolls. No one's trolling you. You ask a question. You're in the men's space. And that's another thing. Women are going to have to understand how men move. You got to understand how men move and how men talk. If you want men to demure and be dainty and talk like women, then you want some beta males. I would love to be able to take some of you women here who think you want high value men and take you to a steakhouse. take you to take you to a steakhouse, take you to take you to an exotic club, take you to a real men's spot, and let you hear how men who really move and shake talk. Some of y'all be like, "Oh my god." Mm, mm. Who do what you say to me? Yeah, they do 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 do. So here's where we go. Overtime. All right, I'll take one more call if I think I will. So let me change it to pulsing color splat. Ooh. What do you think? Time for are you guys coming in here seriously talking about fragrance and things like that? That's not what we're talking about. See, let's talk about. See, high value men expect their women to be adventurous, and there needs to be a little fearlessness in them because a high value man has to take risks. Let's say if I had Leah, and Leah seems to be kind of reserved, I couldn't have her as my woman because if I have to say, you know what, we have to leave Houston, we have to leave Atlanta, and we need to move to Hong Kong, or we need to move to Moscow, or we need to move to, you know, uh, just to Australia, or we need to move to Tokyo. You know what her answer needs to be? Okay, what are we packing? That's her answer. Not, oh my God, Tokyo, I don't speak any Japanese. Uh, What's it like over there? I got to eat rice. What do they drink? Can I get my hair products? I mean, can you go to Tokyo and I just stay here? No, 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 no. Her answer needs to be, all right, Moscow. All right, das vidanya, comrade. Yes, that's what a high. You can't. That's why high value men end up becoming high value men by themselves, and then they go get a pretty young wife who still has an attitude of moving and shaking. This is why you can't just have a beautiful bobblehead because she's going to have to be able to move. That's why some of you ladies think you can just be cute and that's enough, and it's not. It's simply not. It is simply not enough. So I've said it on my show that I don't do the um who is this? All right. Jolie. Hi, how are you? Welcome to welcome to overtime.
Thank you.
You were saying?
Well, I had a question. I was listening to your live earlier,
Okay.
and I would like some advice. I'm recently divorced. I'm 32.
Okay.
I have a young 8-year-old,
Okay.
and like while I've been home during a quarantine, I've been working out. I started a health and wellness team, and I've also been learning about, how to be more feminine. And if you could share with me some advice.
On what are you trying to accomplish? You trying to get remarried?
Yes, I'd like to get remarried before I turn 40,
Okay.
and
Well, let me ask.
if
Okay.
it's possible, have one more child.
Why are you and your ex? Why'd you guys divorce?
Um, there were domestic issues, and I realized that he was not willing to do the work
I don't
to
know. I don't know
compromise
what
with
that
me,
means.
like going to counseling,
What kind of domestic
relation,
issues? It's relevant.
fighting, police, DIFUS, those type of issues.
You guys were. Oh. You
and
guys
he
are
was not open
you guys. He
to
was
getting
abusive.
yes.
Okay.
We both were, and we were very codependent.
All right. So, how long you been divorced?
I recently became divorced as of June. I was separated for 5 years.
All right. So, you were in an abusive relationship where you guys were mutually combative.
Yes.
All right. And your child is a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Oh Jesus. Why do you want to be remarried? This is relevant.
Because
Why do you want to be remarried?
um just from getting the counseling that have gotten, I I would like to enjoy a healthy relationship with someone else. I've never really experienced a healthy relationship outside of a relationship with myself
Okay,
and what
but
I've seen
that
others
you still
have.
haven't said why that needs marriage. You see the quandary?
I think the
Are you watching
I think
YouTube?
the reason
Are you
why I would
watching
like
YouTube?
I have my
Okay.
Zoom
Well, I
window
just
open.
thought
I
you
don't have
looking
my
to the
YouTube
side, so I
window.
just need to focus on the same kind. So, why do you want to get married? You want a healthy relationship. Why does that need marriage?
Because I'm interested in having one more child.
Okay. Um, were your mother and father married?
Yes.
Are they still
They
married?
divorced. My mother married several. No, my father died.
Okay.
My mom divorced him. She had several
All right. But
marriages.
so what I'm hearing, ma'am, is you have how long were you married though?
I was married for about almost 4 years.
And divorced and
I was in a relationship.
separated for 9 for 5?
No, I met him when I was 16, married him when I was 23, separated 3.5 years after.
All right. So your entire life has been spent with this man.
Yes.
All right. Doesn't really sound like you're really cut out for a relationship, ma'am. Because you're telling me you were in an abusive relationship with you and a man you know since you were 16. How old was he?
He was 19.
So he's 3 years older than you. All
Yes.
right. So what man would want to marry and come into all this? Because anybody that you would deal with would have to deal with your ex-husband because your ex-husband's daughter is living in his house. Your new husband would have to have that man's child in his house. And he sounds crazy and you sound kind of
I
crazy
think
too. Meaning y'all had an abusive relationship. That's all I'm saying, man. I'm not passing judgment, but I'm saying,
he's a police officer.
oh fuck no, bye. No, that's a wrap. No. Fuck no, bye. No. I said it before and I said it again. What did I tell you guys? Stay away from women who are married to officers. See, this is the shit I'm talking about right here. I'm sorry, man, but you'll be bringing a man into a deadly situation. A dude that has police and law and district attorneys on his side. He's supposed to deal with this shit? No. I know it sounds jacked up, man, but I'm asking about the man that you would be getting involved with. And see, that's what you've said. You've said nothing about I want to have a healthy, beautiful relationship, and I want to be a helpmeet to somebody and spend a life together where we learn about each other and this and that, and where we have a child that grows out of love.
That's what I
That's
would
not what you
like.
said, though.
That's what I would like.
That's not what you said. What you said is, I want another kid, and
I simplified what I said.
I gave you a chance to explain it. What it sounds like to me, ma'am, honestly, is you want another kid and you don't want to be a baby mama. No judgment, no heat, no judgment. You want another kid, and you want that kid to come out of a marriage because you don't want to be a baby mama. Fine, but a man marrying you would have to deal with a woman who has a history of being abusive herself, married to a law enforcement officer with a daughter in his home. OMG. Scenario. You marry a guy named Roger, okay? And your daughter's name is Amy. And your ex-husband's name is Larry. You and Roger are living in a nice home, better than Larry could ever afford. You're driving a Mercedes, and Larry's daughter Amy is wearing the best, eating the best. And every time she goes to Larry's home, she's looking around and saying, "Hi, Dad. Nice apartment." When she's got the nice home she's living in with Mom and Roger. Then Larry asked one day, "So, Amy, what's wrong?" Well, because he's going to be asking about what's going on with Roger and your mama. He's going to be milking up information. He's a fucking cop. They are notorious for getting information out of people. So tell me what happened. Well, I was told not to tell. No, baby, tell me what happened. Well, he did something to me. That's all it has to take. Next thing you know, here come the Blue Line Gang and everybody trying to shoot this dude. Hell no. No, ma'am. You know I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying, am I?
No, he's done this to my family.
Exactly.
My family.
So I'm sorry. You picked a crazy cop to be with? Shit, no. Don't you be talking. No. No.
No, I helped him become a cop because he used to work at Kmart.
But that's fine. I get it, man. But the fact of the matter is, I made a broadcast on the several women that a man should avoid. High value men in particular. Attorneys and physicians, women who were military, police officers, or married to military or police officers. Psychology chicks, social. I'm sorry, ma'am. I hear you. But what I'm saying is the man that would come into this.
What would you recommend? What would
I recommend? How old is your child?
She's 8.
You're 30 what? 32?
32.
You got another 10 years before you can get out of this. Or you say, or you send you give custody to your ex-husband. So he has your daughter. And you and your new husband start a new family. That way he has nothing in your house.
Well, we do parallel parenting.
That's right now.
No contact.
That's right now. So that's right now. And when was the last time you guys actually had relations?
In 2016.
All right. So that would be what I would suggest. The only way this is going to work is you got to get that kid up out of his house, out of your house. I mean, it's not a pretty situation, ma'am. I get it.
No, my daughter spends 50-50 with me.
Uh-huh.
She spends 50-50 with me.
Uh-huh.
That's not an issue.
No. It is. No, ma'am. No, it's an issue. See what you. So I need you to understand though. Have you had a long-term boyfriend that's been around your daughter?
No, never.
So you don't know how your ex-husband is going to respond to a man being around his daughter. I have a daughter. I'm going to tell you right now, I ran down a very plausible scenario. If your daughter ever goes back and tells your ex-husband that he did anything that is even, she could have got in trouble and he just put her on timeout or did nothing, she could go lie. Man, this is a bad situation for another man. That's all I'm trying to say. And I understand that it sounds like, damn, I can't win. But I'm talking about the man that's
Yeah.
coming into this situation. You got to look at it from his standpoint.
I feel like since I've been dating, like
Hey,
men
Nicole,
have
you're up
been
next.
intimidated, and it's,
Men have been intimidated because of what?
I feel like other men, my
Well,
past.
yeah, because it is. Okay, ma'am, an abusive relationship with a law enforcement officer is about as bad as you can get. Because a law enforcement officer is even worse than an attorney because they got a group of police officers, dude. I've had fraternity brothers and friends who dated wives of ex-cops and stuff that a lot of these guys and other men in blue are willing to do for their brothers about their wives. That's why I don't have any. The prognosis isn't good, ma'am. But I do. What I would say is, you stay in counseling, get your therapy, and all this other stuff. But if you seriously want to move on with another man, uh, the most plausible scenario that I can think of is giving custody of the child to your ex-husband, and then that way you can go no contact, and you can be the custodial parent. I mean, you could be the non-custodial parent. Sounds harsh, but that's what's up. What's up, Nicole?
Hi, how are you?
Appreciate it. Thank you, Julie. I'm good.
Thank you.
So what's going on, Free Spirit?
So yeah, I just wanted to kind of follow up with you from last time. You gave me some amazing advice, and things have kind of changed a little bit. So I wanted to know, moving forward, how to stop wasting time. I have a couple of guys who I have, like, dates lined up with, and in the past, I feel like I've been tricked by a facade. I live in South Florida, as I mentioned last time, and it's very easy to just kind of, you can't go by a job title or a car or a house
What do you
on,
mean start wasting time?
wasting time. As far as, like, I do have a goal in mind. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And in the
And
past, when
how
I'm
old are you
dating,
again?
27. Mhm.
All right, but we just talked like last week, and now all of a
Right.
sudden it's like, well, now I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and
No, that's what I mentioned last
right,
week.
but you had had the very bohemian lifestyle.
Of course.
All right, and
Things have changed.
now you're saying, um, you just don't want to waste time, and what does that
Right.
mean? I want to be married by a certain age.
Not so much a certain age, but just with men that I date. Like, I've always been focused on my goal, right? But in the past, I feel like I've been direct, but I've always kind of, not always, but I've been tricked into thinking something that is not when I'm dating
So, are you
guys.
dating to get married?
Yes, yes.
So these guys you said are interested. Do they want to get married?
Yes.
Have they said they want to get married?
Yes, it's a conversation that I try to have, like, sooner than
How
later.
old are How old are you? You said you're 27. How old are they?
37 and 34.
Have either one of them been married?
No.
Um, and are they? Where'd you meet them?
One of them I met at the gym, and one through a friend.
Um, Male friend or female friend?
Female friend, and then one at, the gym, just conversation.
Well, I mean, there's no reason. I mean, no, I don't know how to tell you not to waste time. I mean, you got to get to know people.
Right, of course.
But,
But what I'm
but, you know, again, you want to get married because of.
because that's kind of like how I grew up in my mind. I don't even think it's appropriate for me to move in with someone before I'm married. I want to have kids. So yeah.
So you want the picture.
Yes, that's what my parents had and everyone in my family. So that's what
But
I'm
but 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 there but you want the picture. I get it, but what kind of husband do you see? The picture is what all women want. They want to get married and they want the wedding and they want the house and they want the kids. But what about the stuff in between all those things? Do you
Right.
want to work?
No, I want to be a stay-at-home.
So now there's a problem. You got to have a man who's making that kind of money.
And that's kind of like what my question was like
I
last
can't
week you mentioned.
I can't fix it, ma'am. You're 27 years old. And the kind of men who make the kind of money you want a woman without such a liberal past.
My past isn't that liberal, actually. But,
Well, they also want younger women. And they
hmm.
also want women who are from what they would consider good marrying stock. Have
Okay.
you always been marriage minded?
Always.
Then why is it taking so long?
Like I mentioned, I feel like in the past, the guys that I've dated kind of it. Like I live in South Florida,
I mean,
right?
I
And
understand. I remember some things, man, but I talk to a lot of people. Your
yeah,
longest
of course,
relationship was what?
2 years.
And it ended because of
It was I didn't want it anymore, but he wanted to marry. He was looking at rings and all
okay,
that.
but why was he not good enough?
Because at the end, I kind of realized what his financial situation was, and it wouldn't be possible ever for me to be a stay-at-home mom.
His finance. What do you do for a living?
He was a firefighter, and he owned a couple of businesses.
Oh, this is gonna be hard, man.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, okay. Now I remember the guy that you were dating for 2 years wasn't rich enough.
Perhaps.
All right, well, that's fine, but prepare to be judged the same way. I mean, how tall did you say you were again?
5 foot.
5 foot, and you were in what size dress?
2, 2, 4.
Again, ma'am, that's a press in South Florida. That's a press because South Florida is probably one of the hardest places outside of LA to compete for women.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So if you had a firefighter they're not broke,
No.
so you so let's go with it. You're like, my value is higher than that. I should get more.
It wasn't only that, it was that there was a point in the relationship where the tables kind of turned. So it went from him being the provider and leading the relationship, which is something that I've always, required in a relationship, to me, kind of him taking the back seat when I started work, like, making more money and kind of almost feeling as if like, damn, he won the lotto because I was
Hold on,
making
hold on, hold on. How are you making more money than him?
because I'm a therapist,
What kind of therapist?
behavior therapist, and I also have a couple businesses.
So, so when he was making money and providing, it was a okay.
Yeah.
But when the table switched and he had to take so he's see, this is a problem. This is a real problem, and any man would be wise to look at this.
Right.
You want an inequitable situation. See, he paid in and you accepted it, but when it's time for him to, for whatever reason, slow times, injury, karma.
No.
Hold on. You said he hit the lottery.
He felt as if he hit the lotto. So I was starting to see his I guess real character because once I started working more and kind of making more money, because of course we weren't living together. He was only my boyfriend, so I didn't expect him to take care of me fully, right? So
But see, that's the problem. He shouldn't have been taking care of you any as your boyfriend. He should have been your boyfriend. See, this is a problem, ma'am. You can say whatever you want. He was doing husbandly kind of stuff. Okay, ma'am, this sounds horrid in the sense that if you want to play this game, you are going to get played or play.
really,
Yes, Because look what you said. I was with somebody for 2 years. You didn't say that he had poor character, he cheated on me or whatever. It came down to money. Pure and simple, money. All right, ma'am. Then guess what? You're the kind of woman that ends up as the first wives club. You become a starter wife. And it's fair. Because if you're willing to get rid of somebody on money, they should get rid of you after your boobs start to sag.
Right. But what I'm trying to explain, it wasn't just the money. It was the fact that once I started making more money, he fell all the way back and was like, okay, yeah, I like how this is going. I like how
So
much
he quit
money you make.
work?
What was that?
He quit work?
No, he was still working, but it was one
So
of
were
those
you
things
paying
where,
his rent?
yes, he was asking me for money. He was borrowing money when we went out.
Okay. Stop. I
Yeah.
asked you, were you paying his rent?
He asked me a couple of times for money to pay his rent and pay for other things.
And you, okay. See, I know how you ladies do this, so I'm going to go down the path.
Mm-hmm.
He asked you for money in order to pay his rent.
I can't remember exactly what it was for, but there were a couple of times where he fell short.
And how much money was he asking you for?
$500-$600.
In year what, 2?
Yeah, like towards
Okay. And did you ever ask him for any money?
No, it was just gifts he would offer.
But you take, again, ma'am, I'm not new to this. You willingly accepted money. See, this is why I caution you guys to get out here and stop leading with your money. Lead with your wallet, which is your accomplishments, and let her decide if she wants to stay or go. But don't try to buy women, because this is what tends to happen. Ma'am, you sound entitled. You'll take his stuff, but then when he asks you for some money, which I wouldn't have did, but it's not as though he asked you for it in the first month. He asked his girlfriend of 2 years, and then you say, well, I hope you're, and what I say is, ma'am, life is an energetic balance. Do you think that it sounds to me like you felt that was perfect reason? It's like, well, I should, if I got to pay for it, dude, I might as well be out. Cool. There's a number you're worth too on the balance sheet. And I hope you're okay with the number, that whatever it turns out to be. Because you're a behavior therapist, right?
I am.
You have college debt?
No.
All right. But all and you make below 6 figures, above 6 figures?
No, at the time I was making close.
I'm asking you now.
Now 75.
75. And you want to, and of course, once you get married, you want to get that 75 goes away. So the man you make needs to make whatever he's making plus your 75, because you're not going to work anymore. Wow. I hope you're okay with that, because you're one of these kind of women that will be out here having to run after the baby carriage, because you better keep it all hot and tight. Because look at what you're saying. You want a man, it comes down to money. I mean, this is a acculturated, I don't want to say acculturated prostitution, but this is, you're not talking about the caliber or quality of man. He's just a resource to you. So you just going to be a womb and a bill for him. That's fine. But you've set this in motion, man. You don't value men.
I don't agree with any of that, but
Well, there, okay, 2,400 people in here. The women seem to be kind of in line with it. But tell me where I missed it, because you're talking about your boyfriend, who you had one place, he had one place, and he asked his girlfriend to borrow money because he fell short. He didn't go steal it. He didn't start smoking crack. Something happened. And did you loan him the money or no?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, was it a loan?
I think he paid me back. I'm not sure.
Okay,
yeah,
did you loan the money to him in good faith?
Yes, of course.
I mean, meaning, okay, honey, here you go.
Yes.
Okay, so
Definitely.
what's the most expensive gift you've ever bought for your boyfriend, this guy?
He was really into clothes and fashion, and I think I bought him like some shoes came out, some like Jordans or something, and it was almost $1,000, and I bought them for him.
The most expensive gift you bought were a pair of $1,000 tennis shoes.
Yeah, it was like it was two
You bought them 2 pair of shoes for $1,000 or $1,000 in total.
in total.
And this was for what? Birthday?
No, it was for like an accomplishment for work.
Okay. What accomplishment was that?
He had graduated
You graduated in what?
because he was in school when we first started dating.
Okay, but graduated what, ma'am? I need to understand what it was for.
Like from the fire academy.
Okay, so he graduated from the academy and as a graduation gift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that doesn't count. See, as a man, when my women, I buy them Louboutins because it's fucking Tuesday.
Right.
Tell me what you bought him just on a Tuesday.
When I would go travel for work, I would buy him stuff, whether it was like, I don't know, clothes
What
or
was the most you ever just spent on a whim? Just
maybe $100.
so $100. So see again, and what's the most he ever just spent on you on a Tuesday?
The same. It wasn't anything like that.
Okay,
Like,
all right, because so, but when you guys dated and ate out, did he pick up the tab?
yes, in the beginning, but towards the end, not
In
at
the
all.
beginning, there was a 2-year relationship, man.
Maybe the first little less than a year, he would always pay.
And then and a year into it, you guys started going Dutch.
He would actually, yeah, Dutch, or like if we were like in a dinner party or something, he would text me and say, "Can you please cash out me the other half?" When I started making money, like a
All
lot
right,
of money.
so ma'am, this sounds kind of. I mean now I don't. This is.
Yeah,
He's your
like,
boyfriend?
yes, things changed completely. Like he just kind of like stopped leading. I was the man in the relationship. Not only when it came to finances, but just period. You know, like you can do it yourself. It's fine. So
So why'd you stay in this then? If all of a sudden this guy who was paying the way and leading the way, all of a sudden just flipped up and started asking you to go Dutch, and you guys were in a sexual relationship,
yes.
why did you accept this for another year and some change?
Self-worth. My mom had just passed away. I lost this. He was my first. So it was a lot of things. Like I didn't see my value.
All right.
So
Well, have you had therapy
I went to therapy for a year.
regarding this?
Just everything. My mom's passing, the
All right.
relationship.
Well, I will tell you this, ma'am. This sounds extremely chaotic, and I will tell you, I got to be honest. The men that make the kind of money you're talking about, this is a non-starter.
Right.
They don't. How can I say that? Can I just be direct?
Of course.
High value men don't deal with women who have trash backgrounds. And this just sounds trash. It's like, you got issues with giving her $500 for rent. I mean, the men we're talking about can afford to make up your entire salary. $500, that ain't shit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's the attitude of the woman, case in point. I have a colleague in London. His name is Daniel. He has a video on YouTube. A woman went in to buy her boyfriend 2 suits because she needed to attend a wedding with him. Suits were $35,000 each because they came from some sort of not alpaca or some strange, the most rare material in the world, and they just threw in a couple of watches.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, it sounds to me as though you have an issue with men and money. And this is why I always tell guys to look at where a woman spends her money, because that tells you what she really thinks about you. And it sounds to me as though it should go one way. But if it goes the other way, even for a short period of time, even if you do it, you're keeping score. You're keeping track. And I'm not judging it. I'm just saying it's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
Or did you not keep track or keep score?
No, it wasn't that. Like what I'm trying. I feel like I'm just digging myself into a hole.
Well, I mean, but ultimately, I'm saying, and here's what it comes down to, ma'am, is if you want to get married and be a stay-at-home wife, you're gonna have to give a guy what he wants to be able to overcome. See, I don't understand why so many of you ladies feel like you should not have to work. Honestly, I really don't. I mean, you're 27.
Mhm.
I don't understand why you feel as though you should not have to work when 72% of mothers in this country have to work full or part time. I mean, you live in Miami or South Florida. Would you put yourself up in that category of the nines and tens?
Definitely, no one in my everyone, all the women in my family are stay-at-home moms, and I do plan. I have a business.
Okay, then why didn't you have one of those boyfriends, though, is what I'm saying.
I thought I did.
No, you did not, ma'am. See, let me stop you right there. No, you did not. A firefighter has never been one of those kind of men. VP of Mergers and Acquisition, hedge fund manager. We're talking about men who have the real money, not talking about somebody who works for the state. Knock it off. You've never had you know what I'm talking about. I mean, what kind of car did he drive?
He raced cars.
What kind
I
of
don't
car
know.
did he drive?
I think he had a BMW. I'm not
What
really
kind of
sure
car
what.
did your boyfriend have? Your boyfriend of 2 years. You don't know what kind of car he had?
A BMW. I'm not sure what model it
What
was.
was it his? Did he pay it off or
Yes.
he had car payments?
No. He paid it off.
Okay. Well, let me just help. You're going to be working.
Okay.
This all comes right
Okay.
down to it. You're going to be working because you're an attractive woman, but I'm sorry, in South Florida, no. The men with that kind of money, even if they saw you and were attracted, as soon as they start hearing all this, I'm like, no, I'm a hedge fund manager or I'm a VP of Mergers and Acquisition, and her last boyfriend was a firefighter. Fuck no. That wouldn't even sound right around his circles. Hey, Bob. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Keith. What's going on? Yeah, man, I made a new great woman. What did she do? Yeah, she's a behavioral therapist. Great. So, what's her family? Who's the guy? Because every guy is going to measure himself to the last guy. And your last guy was a firefighter. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. You cleared $4 million last year, and her last guy was a firefighter. She scored with you. You see how that goes? And she goes by. So, what do you see? When women hear what they don't want to hear, they get the French toast out of here. What happened to that? When I told her you going to have to work, what did she do? I can't live in a delusional fantasy land where I can just be a pampered princess and stay at home and get rid of a 75,000. Not in South Florida, you can't. Bro, I'm telling you, man. Wow. Women like that really think that they just because they believe in the power of friendship and sunshine that they ain't gonna have to work for the rest of your life. When 72% of women out here with married women or mothers work. I mean, I will say she was cute. But who in the chat room thinks this woman really had men who are masters of the universe knocking on her door? And she stayed with Super Mario Brothers for 2 years paying his rent. Really? So don't get mad at me, lady. You can't lie to me like that. The lies come out. Think about it. It's just like, well, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and now my family, Gold diggers. Not even good gold digger, man. Bad gold digger. See, here's the thing, man. You don't even remember what kind of car your ex-boyfriend drove. Think about what I said. The Godfather's good at what he does. He had a WBM. You mean a BMW? Yeah, I don't remember what make or model. Really? You want to be a stay-at-home wife, but you don't remember the make and model of the car you in for 2 years? See what I'm saying? Ladies? So when you think your Godfather or think I'm off on my BS, just let me talk to him for a minute and the truth will come out. This is why a lot of you Florida chicks end up knocked up and rode hard and put to bed wet. You get out here overvaluing yourself, thinking because you got a little bit of Cubano or something in you, something's a little different about you. You think you can decide to do this level up crap in your mid-20s, and you honestly think your value increases. But high value men look at everything. Do you not think, U.S. Michael, when I said these dudes are going to look at the guys you dated in the background, that's going to be like, wait a minute. VP of Mergers and Acquisition, CEO of this, and all right. And then your ex-boyfriend was a firefighter. These two things don't add up. You go from a firefighter to a master of the universe. A firefighter who can't pay his rent to the master of the universe.
I'm a PhD.
A firefighter to the master of the universe. You know what's happening, guys? She's in what?
Danger zone.
And it's starting to get hard out here, and it ain't making no sense. I'm sorry, man, but what you just did,
that was pathetic.
It's just pathetic. That 2 + 2 is 4, and then they run. So sorry. Good thing we had an overtime. I'm glad we did this. I may do overtime from time to time. Got the sync issues out. I didn't hear as much buffering. So that's a good thing, guys. I'm up out of here. I'm sorry, Miss Rosa. You should have jumped the first time. A year into the relationship, he started asking her to go Dutch. Man, I am going to slice and dice that conversation. Let's talk about this. Leah, she said a year into the relationship, this guy started asking her to go Dutch. Start saying, hey, we went out to Applebee's or Chili's and the bill was $30. I need you to cash out me back your $15. And remember, I had water and you had tea. So I'm going to need you to give me $17. Information man, did you hear this? She said that her boyfriend asked her to cash out him back her half of the date. Boy. I need him to cash out me back my money. And then she stayed there for another year and a half because she was depressed and had low self-esteem. But all her relatives are married to high value men and she's stay-at-home wife. Are y'all hearing the same stuff I'm hearing? Exactly.
I'm a PhD.
It's like, what? Then all of a sudden you want to go, blah, 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 blah. Now I deserve to not work and just have some kids and be a stay-at-home wife because I'm a dress size 2. Ooh. Hamburger Jones. Well, I'm good at what I do. So thank you for calling in, lady, and thank you for running out of here with your panties on fire. I didn't do it. You did it to yourself. And hair grease. Overtime. Over.